Hello, this is Bob Mangro. This video is in response to my previous video titled How to Stay in the Now, where I spoke about practicing to function in smaller bubbles of time and learning to not allow your mind to go beyond the bubble of time so that you can energize your now moment. I received a question from Eleanor who asks, what about when we have personal demands and commitments? Our mind must think about tomorrow and the day after until they are done. So how can a now moment be handy? And what about visualizing our goals and dreams? This is a very good question, and let me cover a few things. The most common trap that many fall into is that focusing on the now moment seems somehow impractical, less important than the future. And the now moment somehow feels like you are ignoring tomorrow's activities. And this is not true. As you energize your now moment and pay more and more attention to simply being aware of what is happening now in a non-judging and relaxed manner, your mind actually becomes very practical. Your ability to handle future plans and ideas and tasks become easier because you start to dissolve the notion of time and thereby dissolve any nervousness, stress, and anxiety that are usually connected with the notion of time. To explain, I'm sure you've all heard of, or perhaps have experienced, the feeling of being in the zone, like an athlete just having a great game, or a singer when the song is sung just right with passion and clarity, or a painter suddenly having a burst of inspiration and creates an amazing piece of artwork, or a computer programmer suddenly writing the codes for a new software design, or a race car driver fully in tune with the race, or a public speaker very passionate about her lecture. What is most common about such experiences is that these people have naturally slipped into the now moment, and time and other concerns simply disappear. And when this happens, they perform far greater than when they are not in the zone. This is why some people who know this experience will then try to get it through adventure activities, such as mountain climbing, downhill skiing, skydiving, racing, roller coasters, and other adrenaline rush type activities. But you don't have to do extreme activities to have the experience of timelessness or the experience of natural flow. When a person is not in a now moment, they usually experience such things like writer's block, lack of energy, or they feel fearful or anxious about an upcoming event, such as a job interview, a driving test, a school exam, or going on a date. Think about this for a moment. When you're thinking about the things you have to do for tomorrow, or the weekend, or next week, and so on, for the most part, how do you usually feel? Most people feel stressed and anxious. They think about how much time I have left. Are things going to turn out okay? I have so much to do. I have to pick up the kids, do the laundry, go to the mall, send that email, finish that project for the supervisor, study for my exam, and on the mind gets busy, and yet none of these things are actually happening in the now. So in other words, the person is stressed out about things that have not yet occurred. So being in a now moment is not about ignoring upcoming activities, but it is about processing your upcoming activities from a stable place of the now moment. And that gives you a sense of balance, focus, and mental clarity. Think about going on a date. You have not even left your house yet, but you're thinking about, what will I wear? What am I going to talk about? And what if I'm late? Or I hope I don't spill soup on my dress. I hope I don't say something stupid, and on. Your mind gets busy. So we work ourselves up when things are not even happening, rather than learning to process the now moment when and only when they are actually happening. Another very common situation you see this is when people are planning a wedding. A wedding is supposed to be the most beautiful, fun, and important day of a couple's life, and yet it is usually filled with the most amounts of arguments, stress, worry, and struggle. People are caught up in their own insecurities mind games, and have not learned to enjoy their life experiences in a way that is similar to being in the zone. So why is the now moment practical? It relaxes the mind, it enhances creativity, it boosts your intuition, and it creates personal joy. And no, you don't forget about or ignore your future tasks. And it is not that you're not allowed to have thoughts about tomorrow or next week. Those thoughts, however, are simply secondary and not primary in terms of awareness and attention. It is said that if you take a miserable person and place them in the middle of paradise, they will still find a way to feel miserable. Now, I'm sure you've seen this. A person, for example, is grouchy or angry all the time, and he can be in the most peaceful and beautiful place, and he will somehow find a reason to get angry. A person might be the type to complain all the time, and no matter where they go and how smooth things are, they will find faults with their situation. They will find faults with something or another. So imagine someone on an amazing vacation, where there's summer sunshine, blue water beaches, a drink in their hand, and with good friends and so on. But they fail to enjoy their vacation because their mind is busy thinking about their children, an argument they had on the plane, the waiter is too slow, and now they're upset and frustrated. This is an example how many people suffer unnecessarily because they're not in the now, and instead their minds are wandering off into the future or the past unconsciously and uncontrollably. Anger, complaining, misery, stress, anxiety, worry, and fear are all signals when the mind has wandered off into negative dialogue and is ignoring the stability of the now moment. So as you energize your now moment, no matter where you are or what you're doing, you can still have thoughts like, I have a dentist appointment next week, or when I get home I will finish my report for work, or I have a meeting in 2 weeks, or I have to order supplies for the office, or my daughter has to go to her soccer game tomorrow, and so on. Future thoughts do not become stressful or problematic because such thoughts are only temporary as a form of reminders and acknowledgement of what you need to do. But the majority of your attention is whatever you are doing right now, and that's all. Observing everything and experiencing everything as much as you can, because the now moment is the only experience that will remind you that you are alive and that you exist. It is the only true reality, for the now moment is the only moment you can exist in. Go ahead, try to not exist now. Now I ask you, try to exist in tomorrow. You cannot. Or try to exist in yesterday. You cannot as well. You can only access these points of time through thoughts and memory. Past and future are not your true reality, only varying versions of your mental imagery. So this is why the now moment is the most practical and powerful place to be in, exist from, and function from. The ability to stay in the now is quite evident in children, as you can watch any child play, and they're so consumed in the now moment, they know how to fully enjoy it. Notice when they laugh and play, it is so full of energy and purity. You can't even get them to eat because they're too busy having fun. They're not thinking, what's for lunch, or I have to wake up at 8 o'clock tomorrow for school. Their minds do not drift. Very much like a mountain climber or a downhill skier, in that moment of full nowness, they're not thinking, what's for lunch, or I have to go to work tomorrow. The thrill of the now is the highest life force and energy we can experience. And the further out your mind travels into the past or future, that energy dwindles and we lose our power of consciousness. Animals also display the power of now consciousness. A squirrel, for example, does not wake up in the morning and think, what tree should I climb today? Or a bird doesn't wake up and think, where should I fly today and where should I fly tomorrow? They're simply in tune with their highest intuition and highest vibration, and they follow the movement of life and lovingly allow that movement of life to unfold. So does this mean to not have goals or plan anything? No. As human beings, we have the ability to vision, imagine, and create. But being in a now moment is your ultimate position of power while you create. So setting goals and visualization are great tools. So when you're visualizing, for example, go deep into the imagery and feel it as if it's happening now, and not some distant fantasy or dream that you hope to get one day. Feel as much sensation as you can while you are visualizing and planning goals for yourself. So if you are lying in bed, for example, doing your visualization techniques, feel the softness of the bed, the warmth of the blanket. Hear the sounds in the background. Notice your breathing. Observe your physical adjustments and observe as much as you can while you visualize. Let your visualization become your reality as if it's happening now. What is different this time is that you are creating a future image with intention and purpose, as opposed to your mind just drifting into the past and future with no objective purpose, only causing unnecessary stress and anxiety. So remember, your now moment is your position of power. Your now moment is your absolute reality. Stay in it, be aware of it as often as you can. Thank you.